You see, there's a lot of things you have to consider when it comes to choosing a great date fragrance or a great romantic evening out fragrance. Mainly, what you want to avoid is choosing something that's going to be harsh and sharp and really piercing to the nose. You want to choose a fragrance that's going to be laid back, that's going to have the edges rounded off on it, that's going to be smooth, that's going to be warm and inviting, something that hopefully will draw the person in closer to you and make them want to get closer to you just to smell you. You don't necessarily want to choose something that's going to be filling a room, going to be super strong. You want to have a little bit of a mysterious factor about it. You want to choose something that's going to kind of stick a little bit closer to your skin and really want to entice them to come in closer to you. It's kind of like a fragrance that you want to be discovered or on their own rather than it being announced to everyone else around you. So choosing something that is kind of light in a way in terms of its projection and just something that is warm and sweet is really kind of important and kind of the main things you want to look for when choosing a night out romantic date scent. And today we're going to be going over 10 of them. These are not by any means the 10 best date night or romantic fragrances, but these are 10 really good ones that work great in this type of situation. And I do want to hear your list down below. What are 10 great date fragrances in your collection that you have that you like to use? Make sure you let me know, and I hope you're ready to get into this video. I know I'm pretty excited. I haven't done a video on like date fragrances or anything like that in a while, so yeah, hope you're ready. Let's go. Starting off with the first fragrance we have on this list, we have Givenchy Gentleman EDP. Awesome fragrance here. This one is really nice. It's kind of a Dior Homme intense smelling fragrance, but more wearable and more mass pleasing than that. You've got vanilla, you got patchouli, you have iris. It smells really nice, really laid back, really kind of stripped back. What you get mostly, at least to me, from this fragrance is going to be the vanilla. You do get the iris, and you do get a little bit of a patchouli note in the far dry down, but for me the main player is the vanilla. It smells incredible. I'm a big fan of that note in fragrances, and that's a really great note to work with when choosing a night out scent. And another thing that's nice about this fragrance is that it's pretty affordable. I believe you can get these $45–50 on fragrance discounters. I will have it linked down below to the best price along with everything else in this video that you can check out. Honestly, this is a great fragrance here, a great one to start the list out with. Givenchy Gentleman EDP, such a great warm romantic scent. Moving up next here, we have Dolce & Gabbana The One Royal Night. So this is a newer acquisition for me. I've wanted to pick this one up for a long time, and kind of the reason why I did was because I just recently got Dolce & Gabbana The One EDP Intense, which is the new release. I've already reviewed that one. You can check out that review if you want to hear my full thoughts on it. And just a little spoiler alert, I don't really like the fragrance that much. Wasn't too impressed, not a big fan of it. Not something I'm really going to wear, but it really had me thinking, like, you know, I tried this one. I want to get into some of these other Dolce & Gabbana flankers just kind of to complete my collection because I am a bit of a completionist, and I also wanted to see if any were any good and to feature them. And out of all of the ones that I've tried so far, this one is going to be one of my favorite Dolce & Gabbana flankers, and that's aside from EDP and the original. I really am impressed with this one. Now, do I like it more than the EDP? That's pretty tough because I really love the EDP. You guys know how much I love this DNA. But what I like about this one is that it's kind of close to the EDP. You don't have the tobacco in this fragrance. So that's one thing that is different about this one. You have the amber, you have the cardamom, but you have no tobacco. For some of you, that may be a good thing. For others of you, maybe not so much. For me, I do miss the tobacco in this fragrance. I feel like this DNA isn't complete without that tobacco note. But the way this fragrance comes across is it gets you pretty close to the One EDP. Best part about this one is it has good performance. Like, this stuff really surprised me on how it performed. I was getting great longevity, like 9–10 hours or so on my skin straight up, and it was also projecting. I was testing a number of different fragrances because I got a lot of them in all at once, this being one of them. Out of all the other fragrances that I had sprayed on me on various different parts of my body, this is the one that I was smelling the most. It was projecting the most, which completely blew my mind. I was not expecting that at all. As you guys know, these Dolce & Gabbana fragrances typically don't perform, but this one really performed great. And again, doesn't smell exactly like the EDP. Some people say that it's really similar. Some people say that it's not similar at all. there's a whole, that's all across the board on what people say about this, and it does get you kind of close, minus the tobacco and some other changes, but it's still that Dolce & Gabbana The One DNA, maybe a bit more rounded off, maybe a bit more refined, I guess, a bit more stripped back would be a good way to put it. Nonetheless, this one is great. I love it a lot, and again, it has good performance. This would be perfect for an evening out when you want something that is very romantic, very sexy. You also want something that's going to last for longer than what typically the Dolce & Gabbana One fragrances do. Check this one out, guys. The One Royal Night. It's a really nice flanker here. Moving up next, another romantic date night fragrance. We have Issey Miyake Nuit Noir Argent. What a unique fragrance right here. Obviously, this one, you guys know this has already been featured on the channel quite a bit throughout the winter time here, so this is not going to be anything new for you. But what can I say? This stuff is awesome. It's unique, and that's something that here lately with fragrance releases isn't something that we get that often, and it just kind of is what it is. But this one really truly is unique. It's a little bit fresh in the opening, a little bit citrusy, but you also get a lot of sweetness, balsamic notes, a whole bunch of stuff going on here. It's a little bit balsamic, a little bit resinous, sweet, fresh, kind of a whole bunch of things, but it is very warm and has a really sexy, mysterious edge to it, which I think is awesome. So if you want something unique that's going to be a bit more daring for a romantic date night, definitely check this one out. Great quality from this scent as well, and again, it is affordable. I believe you can get these $40, $45. Moving up next here, we have Monty Code A-List. Now this one is really nice as well. What I like about this is the orange and tonka bean mixture. That is a pretty popular combination in men's designer fragrances. You get that combination in fragrances like Chanel Allure Homme Sport Extreme, Chanel Allure Homme Sport. There's a number of other ones that utilize orange and tonka bean. This one here does it great. It's nice because, again, you get a little bit of a fresh brightness from the orange and a nice powdery sweetness from the tonka bean. They kind of come together and create something that smells really nice. And I'm not saying this smells like either of those Chanel fragrances that I mentioned, because it doesn't at all, but you get what I'm saying here. It utilizes those two notes together, which is really cool, and it smells great. It is pretty hard to mess that up. Tonka bean and orange are two very popular notes in designer fragrances, or just in perfumery in general, so you know, it's kind of what you would expect for it to smell good here, but it really is quite nice. I do like it. Don't hear too much about this scent, and again, it's great for a romantic night out because it's warm, it's sweet, it's got this like alluring edge to it. Really nice one here. It's a great quality Armani scent, another one worth trying. Moving up next, we have Spice Balm Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. Of course, you guys all know this scent, a hyped winter fragrance. This one has gotten a lot of talk, just like the original Spice Balm Eau de Toilette, a very popular fragrance. Everyone knows it, everyone talks about it. This one kind of fell into that as well. This one got a ton of hype when it first came out, and it still does get a lot of talk. I was really late to the party on this one. For the longest time, people were wanting me to pick it up and review it and feature it in videos. I just didn't want to spend the money on it. Even at discounters, these bottles are going to be running you like over $100, so couldn't really get myself to do it. I was focused on buying other types of fragrances, and I just really didn't have too much interest. Eventually, I pulled the trigger on it this winter, and I haven't looked back. I've worn it a lot, I've enjoyed it a lot, and overall, I'm glad that I did buy it. It is a Spice Balm fragrance, and you may be thinking Spice Balm and, you know, Close Encounter Date Night doesn't really mix, and I would agree. Spice Balm Eau de Toilette for a date fragrance or a Close Encounter fragrance, not what I would choose, but Spice Balm Extreme, I would use this for a Close Encounter. Now, keep in mind, this is a strong fragrance, at least on my skin. Again, yeah, people talk reformulations and all this stuff. I can only speak for how this works on me. It is a strong fragrance, so if it is strong on you, just limit the sprays. For me, what I would do in that type of situation is probably 1 to 2 sprays, and that's it. Maybe one of those sprays I would do under my shirt, so it kind of helps muffle it a little bit, helps hold it back. And plus, spraying your shirt is nice. If they rest your head on your shirt, they can smell it through there. So that is a good location. So that's kind of what I would do here in this situation. But it does have such a warming, calming, like alluring, sexy smell from the vanilla, from the tobacco. It smells awesome. It really, really does. Great winter scent, great date fragrance all around. Spice Bomb Extreme. You guys know about this one already. Moving up next here, we have John Varvatos Dark Rebel. Now, we're not talking about Dark Rebel Rider. We're just talking about the original Dark Rebel. How do I like this one compared to Dark Rebel Rider? To be honest with you, I like them both. I really, really do, and they are pretty similar. But what I like about this one is I personally get more of a booziness from this fragrance, more of a like sweet, sugary booziness from this fragrance. You do still get leather, but the leather isn't as much. And what I found that with John Varvatos Dark Rebel Rider, you get more of a resinous and heavy, like thick smell behind that fragrance, kind of in the back with a lot of that leather. This one, you don't get that thickness, you don't get that resinous type of smell. You get more of a kind of alcohol, boozy, sweet, sugary type of smell with some leather. So kind of one way you can almost think of it is like CH Men and CH Men Prive. CH Men is a sugary, sweet type of fragrance. CH Men Prive is more of a boozy, leathery, heavier fragrance. So obviously it doesn't match up perfectly here, but it's kind of a comparison similar to that. This one to me, just a bit lighter, a bit more sugary sweet. And for a date night, I think this is perfect. And this would be my choice out of the two John Varvatos fragrances, just because I really do like the resinous and heaviness of Dark Rebel Rider, but I like the sweet, sugary booziness of this one for a date night close encounter. It's a bit more romantic. It's a bit more sexy in terms of like a close situation. So this would be my choice. Again, these fragrances don't perform the best, which in this situation, that's fine. It's going to get you enough longevity to get through the night. It's going to have, good enough projection. I mean, you don't really need projection at all for a romantic encounter. So overall, it's going to work great. Really nice scent here. Not talked about as much as Dark Rebel Rider, but I really like this one. Definitely give the OG a shot here. I believe you can get these for like $30, so it is worth trying. John Varvatos Dark Rebel. And speaking of CH Men or CH Men Prive, we've got CH Men Prive. So I wanted to put this one here in the list. Putting it right next to John Varvatos Dark Rebel just because they are kind of in the similar territory in terms of leather, boozy fragrances. They don't smell the same or really similar at all, but they do share similar characteristics. This one is really nice. It's going to run you like $50 right on the dot, which is a killer price for this scent. It's another one that lacks in performance, which is my main downfall for this fragrance. Again, for a romantic date night, that doesn't matter. It's going to get you through the night. It's going to, have the strength to do so, and it's going to work great. But I wish I could wear this fragrance in the winter, just when it's cold out, but it just doesn't work. So that's why I mostly use it and see it for a date night fragrance, just because it doesn't have the performance to do really anything else in the winter. So this would be a great choice here. It's going to be more daring like the last one. It's going to be a lot more unique. It's going to set you apart from the crowd. Really nice stuff here. Really great quality as well. And again, it's pretty affordable, about $50. You get a really nice, cool fragrance and a really cool bottle shape. It's like a flask, obviously. This flips open. You've all seen it. It's really cool stuff. It's got some character to it. CH Men Prive. Moving up to the next one here, we have Prada Loam Intense. So as you guys know, the original Prada Loam, a great soapy office fragrance, is mainly what it's kind of used for. However, the original is not something that I would use on a date or an evening out or anything like that. It doesn't really have much of a seductive edge to it, whereas this one does. It has leather, it has iris, obviously. It's got patchouli. It's really like a sweetened up, heavier version of the original Prada Loam, and it smells so nice. The original Prada Loam does have like a powderiness from the iris note, but it's more of like a fresh, soapy, powdery type of smell, whereas this one has more of a like sweet, powdery smell, like a sweet, seductive type of smell that goes along with it, rather than like a soapy, clean scent, if that makes sense. So that one makes this one more appropriate for evenings, for a date night. This one's going to be still a little bit more fresh compared to a lot of the other fragrances here in this list, which could be a good thing for some of you. If you don't want to go full on like straight up sweet fragrance, if you want to stick with something a little bit more fresh, you don't want to go too heavy if it's like a evening out in the summertime and you're going to a dinner outdoors or something. You want to have just a little bit of a freshness, but still have like a seductive, sweet edge to it. Check this one out. Really nice stuff. Really underrated from the line, in my opinion. I mean, the star of the show is, of course, the original Prada Loam. That's where all the hype is. You should definitely check out Prada Loam Intense. This one may impress you. Second to last fragrance we have here, Pure XS Night. This one is my preference over the original Pure XS. Nothing against the original Pure XS, and I've talked about this before in other videos, but the original was missing something for me. I like the smell of it. It smelled nice. I mean, it's a Paco Rabanne fragrance. It's, you know, it's going to be something that smells good. We know this by this point. But when I smelled that one, I felt that there was something missing. I felt that, you know, they could have done a little bit more with it, and that's where this one comes into play. This is kind of like they took that original DNA and they filled in the cracks. They gave it some more character. They gave it some more depth. This one's a lot more interesting, and smelling it now, it smells really, really nice. And some people don't really like this fragrance and they still prefer the original, which is fine. For me personally, though, I think this one is a better scent all the way. Especially coming from a collector's standpoint, there's a lot more to this fragrance that you can find interesting. And I do think for a date night, a romantic evening, this one would work better as well. Even though the original Pure XS had that sugary booziness type of thing going on, it was still a little bit fresh, at least to me. This one is a bit more sweet. I really, really like Pure XS Night. I think they did a killer job here. The opening is a bit harsh, so you do want to wait for the dry down for this one. But once you get there, I can promise you it's going to kill it in a romantic evening situation. Pure XS Night, believe you can get these probably around $50, $60. I know at the time when I was talking about this one a lot, it was at like $70 because it was new. The price should drop down on this one if it hasn't already, and hopefully you should be able to pick them up for around $50 at some point. I don't know if it's there yet, but it should be soon. And finally, I saved this fragrance for last just because it's a basic one. I get it. That's Nuit de Loam. I know you're tired of hearing about it. I don't blame you because it's been talked about a lot. And I'm probably not making that better by including that in this video. Again, that's why I put it at the last. I mean, only about 50% of you watch my videos all the way through. So, I mean, you know, it's not a big deal. But for real, though, Nuit de Loam is a basic scent, right? It's talked about all the time. But it's a fragrance that I truly love. When I smell this fragrance, I love it. It really kind of reminds me of why I do fragrances and why I like them so much. There's something special about this one that just works, and that just makes me happy. I enjoy smelling this fragrance, and I really do think it is one of the best romantic evening date night fragrances on the market. One of the best you can buy, even though it is popular, even though a lot of people probably wear it. That's not a big deal for me because I don't care. You know, my girlfriend likes the scent, so I wear it. And that's really about all there is to it. I mean, you should check this fragrance out if you haven't yet. I'm sure most of you guys have smelled this one. If you haven't, it is a staple, a must-have men's fragrance I think everyone should at least try. Am I saying everyone should go out there and buy a bottle right now if you don't have it? No, but I do think you should try it. So head out to a department store, get your nose on this one, see what the hype is about, see why it's talked about so much. Maybe you'll appreciate it, maybe you'll want to get a bottle. And I can tell you firsthand, don't pay attention to all the people saying that too many people wear it and you shouldn't buy it. That's just a bunch of BS. Don't listen to it. Wear what you like. Wear what fragrances you want to wear, regardless of, you know, what people are saying. If it's too popular, yada, 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 it doesn't matter. Buy what you like. Wear what you like. Enjoy the scents that you want to enjoy. Nuit de Loam is the last fragrance. I've said enough about this one to last a lifetime, so that's it. So guys, that's gonna do it from me. That was 10 romantic date night fragrances. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know down in the comments what your list would be, and do remember all of these are linked down below in the description. If you want to pick any of them up, check them out down there. So that's gonna do it for me, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night with another one. Take care.